We have two reviewers checking out the brand new Jaws of the Lion DLC for Gloomhaven. Cax has played a lot of Gloomhaven Digital, and I've played the first 4 scenarios of Jaws of the Lion on cardboard. So we'll answer 2 questions for you today. 1, is Jaws of the Lion Digital Edition worth buying? And 2, is it better than the cardboard or not? This is Legendary Tactics. Alright, so Cax, welcome.
Jaws of the Lion, here we go.
Indeed, and I think before we start these videos, we always have to say spoilers just so people don't get angry with us.
Oh yes, of course. There will be, the first scenario to the Jaws of the Lion episode here.
So we have 4 new characters. The Red Guard is the first one, so I'll be playing as this character today.
Sure.
And he's somewhat of a tank. I like sending him up front. I mean, he's shielded up well. He does have a few ranged abilities, and overall he's just got high health and he does quite well. So
I found him to be a really balanced kind of a player there. So
he is actually. Yeah, I actually found that most of the time there were abilities that I wanted to use.
Yeah.
So the Demolitionist, you're playing as this character.
So I decided I'd take the Demolitionist on, and a little bit of a squishier character. It has some really neat abilities with obstacles. I thought that's kind of a really neat aspect that they took on with the Demolitionist. You can
smash things.
Smash things up. And
so we got the Hatchet next is our next character. This is a quasi-ranged character and quasi-damage dealer up close. My favorite card with this one is the Favorite. But,
yes.
And lastly, we've got the Voidwarden.
A great healer. Definitely ranged. You want to be further away from the main scrum, and you want to make sure that you're healing people up, and you're kind of you're the support.
The support class. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so we'll go to the map here. So this was my first frustration, and I think you felt the same.
100%.
To get these 2 that we're showing now, Roadside Ambush, and we've beaten that, so we've gotten the hole in the wall unlocked. We actually had to defeat the 2 original Gloomhaven levels before we could unlock it. Yes,
you had to go and do the 2 barrows, the Black Barrow and Lair, and I'm not sure why they would have made you do that, considering that Jaws of the Lion is supposed to be the introductory to the Gloomhaven series.
It's the prequel. So why on earth do you have to use the characters from this game out of their time period on the wrong missions? That makes no sense to me.
That's right, and this is supposed to warm you up to the Gloomhaven experience, really, of the main game. So it was really baffling and actually, quite frankly, a little frustrating because I didn't want to spend time on levels I'd already beaten.
That's right. Yeah.
I wanted to get right into Jaws of the Lion. I wanted to really give it the new scenarios a look, the new characters a look in their proper scenarios, and that didn't happen that way. So
that's right. So I found the exact same frustration where it came out that first day, and I was really excited to get into the game. And I've played this one with my sons. They're age 8 and 10. And we've had a ton of fun with the cardboard version. I thought, you know what, this will be really cool to try it in its digital form. And it was locked. It took us 3 days before we could actually get together and play this scenario. So that's a huge frustration. So for anyone considering buying it, you're not going to get the content you bought right away.
No, you're going to have to actually work for it a bit, which is a little surprising since you purchased it. Then you don't really get the scenarios right out of the buy. But I figured that might be, and hopefully is going to be, a little bit of a patch that they could work in and have that altered.
Maybe. Big thumbs down though for me in terms of not getting access right away.
I fully agree, and part of it for me too was, hey, look, I just dropped 22 Canadian dollars on this game, and I don't even get to get the scenarios until I do other things. So
well, and look at that. So combined, you and I spent about $45 on this. To get a third player in, it would be another 20. We're actually up more than the cost of Jaws of the Lion, the cardboard version, which is something that sits on my shelf. I can carry it with me, and in so many ways, I find the value for me on the price. Like if this were $5, great, but at $22 or $3.
Well, that was the other thing. I found for an add-on DLC to the original Gloomhaven game, I thought it was a bit rich, to be honest.
Very much so. Like I am actually recommending that Nate not buy this game. He's the third Legendary Tactics content creator, for those of you who are new to our channel. And so, yeah, really disappointing, I would say, actually, that it doesn't feel like it adds a lot of new elements to the game.
No, and if you've been playing the Gloomhaven, maps up until this release, you're not going to notice anything different besides the 4 new characters and, of course, the new scenarios when you eventually get to them.
That's right. Now, I notice you actually play, this is your screen we're watching right now, you play from a different angle. Is there a way that you rotate your screen like that? Because I was on the side profile, I didn't realize you could switch your view.
Oh, yeah, there's just, it's just I believe it's the Q and the R. Or there's just a few, keyboard, you can just bind some keys for that in the option settings there for the
because there's times where you can see the depth better on, say, the obstacles, which really matters for your character in terms... Because when you destroy one square, it actually destroys both squares of the obstacle, correct?
That's right. That's right. Yep. And just for those watching, you're going to notice a lot of tail wagging from the enemies and a little bit of... We've sped up the video. Full disclaimer here, we actually played this one on easy mode just to get to the level to show you. We are going to go back and do it properly on a hard level and sort of do a little more of a tactical analysis on the actual characters and their their synergies together and how you're best going to beat them. But
for those of you who are really quick, you'll be able to see some of our mistakes here too. There's times where I hadn't actually gotten the feel for how to activate the favorite. You can actually see above confirm attack when you're using an attack that is ranged. The hatchet can use the favorite arrow, and that adds 3 extra damage, which actually is quite powerful. I really like that ability. And then you actually have to follow up and pick up the arrow.
Yeah. Now, do you find in playing it, Flash, do you find that is a bit of a hassle?
Well, you also... There's another card where you can reclaim the favorite if you play that card. So I find this game is very much about synergies, and I just want to draw everyone's attention to the right side of the screen. You can see fire is half filled there. These are the elements of the game. There's a couple other, and when you use certain cards, it charges those up fully, and then they wane after each turn. It goes down to a half, and then it goes down to nothing if you don't recharge it. And what those do in Jaws of the Lion is there's extra ability. So you can see like move 4, and then if you use fire, you get an extra 2 move. So that's a pretty cool way to, if you're really good at synchronizing your cards, playing them in the right order, to first activate that element and then to use it. So.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you're going to want to make sure that you maximize that at the correct time and make sure that you have the right cards in hand to really utilize that to the best of advantage you can make.
That's right. Yeah, that flame shroud that we just saw for the Red Guard is really cool. So that's one that I use quite a bit here, where anyone who comes within a square of you takes 2 damage, and that happens up to 5 times. So that's actually a really nice passive way that you can inflict more damage very quickly.
Yeah. Now, Flash, what were your thoughts on so once we got into the actual scenario and what are your thoughts on the Jaws of the Lion, the characters, the scenarios, the look?
Well, I actually have to tell you about my second major problem with this game. So the entire intention about Jaws of the Lion is that it's a prequel to Gloomhaven. We've already said that was, it's sort of told out of order when you play this digital version. But the second major qualm I have is that Jaws of the Lion is meant to be a scaled back, light version of Gloomhaven that teaches players how to play the game. It's a slow introduction to the decks. When I played on cardboard, my sons, who I told you were 8 and 10, had absolutely no problem learning the game because it was very simplified. It didn't use the elements right off the bat, and the cards were very simple. There was basically one effect on each card, and as you play through each mission, you slowly integrate new cards, new abilities, new powers, and you step it up until eventually you get your full deck. Not so in the DLC. You get slammed with the full deck right off the bat. So to me, the point of Jaws of the Lion is to teach us to play this game, and it fails miserably.
Yeah, to do that. The DLC completely lost the the messaging there.
It does. Yeah, it's kind of a waste in that sense.
Right. I mean, now I should say, I mean, we to give it some props here. If you're a hardcore Gloom fan, you will appreciate the 4 new characters. You'll appreciate the new scenarios that you do have options to.
That's right.
So, I mean, there is that going, but I think I'm still working my way through all the different characters of Gloom, and quite frankly, for me, these are just 4 different characters.
Right. This was actually one of my favorite moments of the game here. So I ran in with the Red Guard, and they all swarmed me. And then I hop out of the way here, and you come in and do a huge power play with the Demolitionist. I think it was called the big one.
Oh, the big one. Yeah, that's a great card to drop in there. Yeah, and they were just so perfectly aligned. I think we got 4 or 5 of them in one shot.
That's right. So there's some nice synergies between characters in this too, which you're right. We have to give it some credit that way.
Yeah.
So tell us about this character, the Voidwarden.
Oh, the Voidwarden, yeah. So just a great character that you could just, hover off in the distance with. And I love the range ability of a lot of the cards that the Voidwarden has. Oftentimes, the actions that it can do can reach 2, even 3 squares away. So it's got tremendous range and a lot of the Voidwarden's the Voidwarden's qualities.
She was really good. I noticed at healing multiple characters at once. Like when it seemed like, oh no, we're all dead and poisoned, then she kind of did a mass group heal. That was really helpful.
Yeah, and the other thing I should mention about the Voidwarden, which is kind of neat, is the Voidwarden can take control. It has a few really cool cards where they take control of other characters.
Right,
and,
yes. Oh, here it is. This is the big splash attack. You're just deciding who to kill here.
Yeah. So we went through and we had to do a few little mathings to get this one just right.
Yeah, that is nice with this. You can maximize it. It shows you how much damage is being done to each character. That is pretty cool.
Oh, and the Demolitionist does have a card where it's add +2 to the next 2 attacks. So I actually, you can kind of almost charge your next round attacks by getting that set up. So
right. One thing I noticed with the hatchet here is there's a lot of burn cards, so you either have to use the basic ability or burn the cards. So there are some limitations with this character too.
Yeah. And speaking of the Voidwarden, you can see how far back the Voidwarden actually is.
Yeah, she's always trailing behind the battle.
Yeah, she's not overly close up into the main. Now, she's back a bit further there than I'd prefer, but we did get her up eventually there with the people.
Yeah, that's right. Now, something else I find that is a criticism. So there's different ways to experience the game, and when we played live with my sons, you can I read the narration, and there's little cutscenes where it says, when you hit this point in the mission, read this little cutscene. And my boys really liked when I did the voices and read it. It felt like it was happening in our imaginations. The other option is to use the app that comes with it, so you can actually get a professional voice actor to read those parts to you. And they thought it was cool, but they didn't like it as much as me doing it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I think in this game, I noticed that the cutscenes are really narrated slowly, and they're very skippable. Like I just feel like clicking through and getting to the game.
Yeah.
It's more like watching a movie rather than reading the book, where you just, I don't know. Did you agree with that?
Yeah, I thought I was actually. I remember commenting to you as we were going through the one there. It felt like you needed to speed up about 5 times.
Yes.
Like 5 times speed, and then the actual voiceover would have been actually probably more effective. Because it just felt like someone was
so draggy.
Yeah, just slowly, so it was painful.
It was a cool voice, like great voice actor, but just very skippable.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the speed delivery was slow.
Here's another criticism I have too. Like my Red Guard there is facing away from all 3 people that he's attacking, and it just I just want to take and rotate that piece around so he aims. It's such a petty thing to complain about, but it just feels weird when characters are faced the wrong way.
Yeah, and that's just I guess part of the gameplay dynamic.
It is, for sure.
Now I'm guessing for you then overall, you'd be saying the card version clearly beats out this the Jaws of the Lion.
Hands down.
Steam.
Like I want to go back and play more. I've only played 4 scenarios so far. I want to get more of that. I like the tactile, I like the hands-on, I like the interaction at the table. No offense against you, I enjoyed playing the game with you, Cax.
Yep.
But when we're playing on our computers, it feels like we're very separate. So what's your final analysis here?
I would have to agree. I'd say if you've got the Gloomhaven main game, unless you are a die-hard fan that wants every single scenario, you'll be more than content with those 100 scenarios on the Gloomhaven. You won't really be getting much of you're going to get 4 new characters with this and some new scenarios as well, but nothing really changes as far as the actual gameplay dynamic.
That's right. So please let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like the game, perhaps we've been a little harsh, and if we have, please counteract our arguments here. And thanks so much for joining us on Legendary Tactics.
Dude, I gotta tell you, my video